So since we're studying the brain, it has to be the soft tissue, abdominal, right shoulder, triceps, wrist, hand, the upper thigh, leg, foot, muscle, left nasal cavity. Okay, so right here, we go to page 100. The right cerebral hemisphere. And then we're going to study the ventral view of the brain. And then the mid-sagittal section of the brain. Also the transverse section of the brain. Superior view and brain structure. Okay, this is something else. Where this doesn't include the brain, it goes to the brain stem and the cervical region of the spinal cord. But since we need to study the brain, so we're just gonna do 100 to 103. Okay, so let's go to page 100 and we got 99, 100. Okay, so this is what we need to study. Okay, so I have to know where each of the parts of the brain, where each is located. Frontal lobe. Okay, so that's gonna be easy to remember. Just focus frontal lobe, so it's in the front. And we're looking at the right cerebral hemisphere. So, okay, so we have the frontal lobe, easy to remember, just in the front. Okay, and then we have the lateral sulcus. Okay, so lateral, so it's on the side. So lateral. Okay, so it's on the side. Okay, and then the temporal lobe. We have superior temporal, the middle, and the inferior. Okay, so the way to remember the temporal lobe, just remember that it is on the bottom half, or more like the bottom quarter of the brain. So behind the lateral. Okay, so we got frontal, front, lateral, where the dent is, and then below that, just remember into the temporal lobe. And then superior, obviously the middle, and then the inferior. So, okay, that's going to be easy to remember. And then we have the precentral gyrus, so that's going to be easy to remember too. It's central, so it's in the central. And then we have central sulcus. And then we have the postcentral, which is going to be behind. Before. So just remember pre will be in the front side of the brain. Central, obviously, central sulcus, central. And then the post, central, post, so after, so it'll be parietal lobe. Parietal lobe, which is going to be kind of in the midsection, below the middle part, on the side. Okay. And then occipital lobe. Occipital lobe on the back. So we have the frontal lobe and occipital lobe. So it's going to be on the back side. Okay, so it's going to be easy to remember as well. And now we need to continue to the transverse fissure, which would be, so you just remember transverse, so it has to be in between, so the top part and the bottom, which is the bottom, the cerebellum. So transverse fissure would be here, so it's going to be easy to remember as well. Cerebellum, just remember, is the bottom part of the brain. Okay. Pons, so it's going to be the where it connects the tissue, right there. And then we have the medulla. The medulla oblongata. So it's going to be below the pons. Okay. Cerebellum. So just frontal of the front, occipital in the back. The lateral sulcus will be this part right here. Below that would be the temporal lobe, with the superior, the middle, and the inferior temporal. Okay, then we have the precentral will be the front, central sulcus in the middle, and then the postcentral iris on the back. Okay, the cerebellum will be the small part of the bottom of the brain. Okay. Easy. Alright, so now we're going to look at it. Ventral view of the brain. Okay, so we'll be looking at it from the bottom up, as we can see here. So, as we mentioned before, the front would be here. We have frontal lobe. So yeah, frontal lobe. Okay, so that's going to be, okay. So frontal lobe will be here. And then just remember that they go in order. Okay, so we have here the olfactory bulb. Below that will be the olfactory tract. And then we have on this side, the left, the optic nerve. 2. Optic tract, the internal carotid artery will be here, and then third will be the oculomotor nerve, so that would be here. Okay, and then we have the trochlear nerve down here, trigeminal nerve going down below, abducens nerve, that right here is just going to be the small part, and then below that, facial nerve. Okay, so then we have the vestibular nerve. The nerve, vestibular nerve, right below. And then the glossopharyngeal nerve, the vagus nerve, the accessory nerve, and then we saw the back, the cerebellum of the brain. And then here we have the hypoglossal nerve roots, the olive of medulla, oblongata, pyramid of medulla, and the optic nerve. So for the test, just need to focus. So not these yet. They just told me to focus where the frontal lobe is, the cerebellum, and then just to focus on these three first. So the three that I need to focus for this exam would be the olfactory bulb, which is going to be the first, and then the olfactory tract, which is below the tract, and then the optic nerve. So just remember, the optic nerve will be on the left side of the brain, and the olfactory bulb and the olfactory tract on the right. So olfactory right, optic on the left, and then just remember olfactory bulb and tract. So B goes first, so it will be the first one. Olfactory bulb and olfactory tract. Okay, so it looks like I got this down. Frontal lobe, cerebellum, olfactory bulb comes first, and then olfactory tract below that. And on the other side will be the optic nerve. Those are the only ones that I need to focus on for this exam. So let's continue. Now we're going to look at it from the midsection of the brain. So for this one, we have the cerebellum here. This will be the frontal lobe, okay. And then parieto-occipital sulcus. And then we have the central, of course, the lateral, okay. So for this exam, I just need to focus on the hypothalamus, which would be the tissue in between the lateral ventricle and the thalamus. Okay, so the hypothalamus will be right below to the thalamus, and then we have the pons. Okay, so we just need to focus on the pons, the thalamus, and the hypothalamus. So they're in the central. So just remember, the thalamus is the middle part of the brain. Okay, so, and then the hypothalamus would be right below here on the side, and the nerve that goes down, or I mean not the nerve, but the tissue that goes down would be the pons. Okay, so that's good. And then the fornix would be on top of the thalamus. Okay, so far so good. Easy to remember. Let's see, I don't need to know about this one. Oh, and the cerebellum, of course. We know where that's at. And I think that's it for this part. Yeah, I just need to focus on this one. The fornix will be here, the thalamus, pons on the hypothalamus on the bottom. Okay, so far, okay, so good. Looks like I'm gonna ace this test tomorrow, and then we're gonna take a look from the transverse section of the brain from the top view. So this is the anterior and the posterior. Okay, so for this one we have to focus the thalamus, of course, the thalamus, and then the white matter and the gray matter. That's you. So those would be located right here. Cerebral gray matter, and then we have the cerebral white matter. So for this one, just remember that the cerebral gray matter would be these right here. These right here with, gray, different color. These would be the cerebral gray matter. And then the white matter would be all the tissue in between these. Okay, so that's easy to remember. The body of the tornix, okay, corpus callosum. In the middle, so I think for this one, it was just the thalamus. Okay, so we got that. And then gray and white matter. No, the anterior and the posterior. Let's see, what is this right here? Left on a level with the intraventricular foramen. Right about 1.5 centimeters higher. Okay. Well, we have posterior insula, internal capsule, intraventricular foramen. Okay, so I guess for this part we just need to focus for the exam. We just need to focus the gray matters, interior, posterior, where the thalamus is. I think that's it that I remember. Yep. Body of tornix. Okay. Well, that seems to be it. What's over here? And all this stuff, we're going into the spinal cord. So, I guess that's it for this part of the studying. Yep. Well, looks like I'm pretty good at this test, so hope it goes good. And I think we're done with this quick recap studying for the exam. Well, thanks for stopping by and making it to the end. I'll see you guys in the next one.